What's up, guys? This is Justin Garcia, aka Master Chin, and today we're going to talk about a very important topic that we'll be covering in a little bit more depth and detail during the VioPrep 101 seminar that is happening October 7th at my academy here in New York City. So what are we going to talk about today? We're going to talk about training the way we're actually going to perform in a live situation. So I just drew a blade. It's a regular EDC draw that some of you that are familiar with blade arts, whether it's Sayak Kali or some other, Filipino or Asian system, whatever the case is, you know that being able to produce a blade when you need one is a skill that people need to train. And a lot of people think of that one skill almost in a vacuum in that application. And the more general, universal observation that we can make is if we are not training the way that we are going to perform or expecting ourselves to perform in a live situation, well, what is it that we're preparing to do? This past week, there was just the big fight, the Mayweather-McGregor fight. And during that fight, one of the big arguments was, was boxing better than MMA? Was MMA better than boxing? And I think a lot of people really are getting outside of the scope of the discussion, of the argument that they were having. Namely, none of this is actually fighting, right? If you're fighting on the street, I would hope that you've done the work necessary, the preparation necessary to not have to box, to not have to do any MMA, and to be able to navigate a situation successfully without having to rely on some sort of sportive interpretation of violence. And being able to produce a blade is something that not a lot of people train. They'll train it from holsters, they'll train a lot of blade techniques. As an example, with the blade already in hand, and usually I'm carrying a trainer. I decided to just wear the live one for this video. But when they are they training in the same manner that they're going to actually perform when it matters? Or is that live rep going to be their first rep, right, of that series and sequence of techniques? Okay, so one of the things that I make sure that my guys train in, whether it's at my academy, my private clients, is being able to see the fight from its beginning, from its inception, from being aware of your surroundings, everything leading up to the first actual technical movement that we're making to produce violence, to create and execute violence. And whether that's a draw stroke from a blade, a draw from a pistol, it's producing a collapsible baton. How many people, I can't even begin to tell you how many people I know over the years. Do you have a blade? Yeah, I have a blade. Well, where is it? It's a folder and it's in my backpack. It's a collapsible baton and it's in my glove box. Oh, I always carry a little miniature bat with me. Well, where is it? In the trunk of my car. And I would ask, can you really think about the situation where you would produce a weapon in that manner? When is it that we're going to go to our trunk to get the bat to hit somebody with it? When is it that we're going to go into our bag to get out the folder to open it up to use a blade on somebody? That type of premeditation has a completely different flavor than what it is that we should be practicing, which is counter-violence. Bringing our violence against somebody else's violence. And usually the timeline is much shorter than a lot of the people who treat their force multipliers, their weapons, it's a lot faster than I think they're giving it credit for. So I'll ask you, if you're somebody who's a grappler, do you know how to close the distance and take somebody down? If you're somebody who carries a blade, do you know how to draw the blade? Can you draw it from concealment? If you are running it in a bag, well, what is your protocol for somebody who's, exposing you to some sort of imminent threat? What is your protocol for accessing that blade? Is it a good one? Can it be revisited and improved? If it's your pistol, are you carrying a pistol separate from its magazine and locked up, with some sort of trigger guard on it? And if you need somebody, if you actually need to produce that pistol to do something violent with it, what is your protocol for doing so? Can it be improved? Now, I will tell you first and foremost, the legal issues surrounding force multipliers, weapons, is something that I expect each and every one of you to be able to resolve on your own. By all means, follow your laws. We'll discuss that a little bit more at the seminar. So I'm not telling anybody to break the law. But I know when it comes to protecting myself, protecting my family, whether it's my wife, my children, people that I care about, there's a certain priority that I place in how I prepare myself to do that. Okay, guys? So this is Justin Garcia, aka Master Chim. I appreciate you guys watching this video. And remember, train the way we're actually going to fight. People say that all the time, but what does that actually mean? It means getting reps that matter, getting reps that resemble reality. October 7th is the seminar here in my academy in New York City. I hope to see you there. The link will be below. Check that out. And thanks for watching.